lived on a fancy street, and I was the complete pauper, but it's the one advantage of having, a small degree of local notoriety. This house was in a bankruptcy, and the previous people who lived there had skipped out. So it was a very kind of snotty realtor, sort of Jaguar driving, older English woman. And I said, I can't possibly pay this much. I can only pay much, much less. But I can't, you can find me every day. I can't go anywhere. and she was like, Sam, that's absurd. No one will care. And called back like 45 minutes later. Shockingly, the bank has agreed with your, ridiculous proposal. So,
that's terrific. And you lived happily ever after.
Happily ever after. And then he actually, one name drop, because this house was in bankruptcy court, I somehow got Kim Basinger's bankruptcy lawyer to reel the house.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And as I recall, it was in a neighborhood with other name-dropper-worthy celebrities.
I was the most anonymous person, but a lot of Ben and Jen lived nearby, kind of everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you ever, I feel like you're the kind of guy, this is one of the things I like about you when I watch your show, you sometimes will relate some personal thing that you bumped into Henry Winkler at Ralph's type thing,
right.
And you talked about it. And I love that about you. And because you lived in that area, which is sort of celebrity rich, you've come through with a couple of stories like that, right?
Well, it's funny you bring up Henry Winkler, because one day I was driving on a street in Missouri, and he was taking out his trash cans, and I would never do this. But I don't feel, I know some of these people, but kind of in a superficial way, I don't really know them. But I just felt compelled, and I pulled him over and got out of my car. And he was the nicest, some people say, don't meet your heroes, but occasionally they exceed your expectations. And, these phrases, I wonder if he considers it a burden, but the nicest, menschiest guy in the world.
Yeah, he really is a sweet guy. And I've just met him a number of times, and he's always just been so gracious and lovely. And it just strikes me that, when you rub shoulders with these people, you have to both report on them, review some of their films and their projects. Has that ever been awkward? I've never asked you that. There has to be an awkward moment in your rich career.
Well, it's funny because it just came up today, and maybe I've mentioned it just came up today. And again, I don't feel that I know anybody, but I'm pretty friendly with him. He's been on our show many times, and he's a really good guest. He's the comic Joe Coy.
Sure.
And he just played 4 or 5 sold-out nights in Long Beach. Went with my kids, and it was just, he's extremely talented. And he had this romance, kind of a highly publicized, in the headlines romance with Chelsea Hansen. And they dated, very openly, and, walked great concerts together, nothing was hidden. I rarely know dates like this, but I know it because there was a big People magazine story about it. So they got together in September of 2021. We had him on shortly after that. And I said, he's like, you got to have her on, I don't really want to, talk about it. And I said, we just had her on, and she said during the pandemic, she spent the entire time working on her body. And he smiled and sort of said under his breath, she sure did. That convinced us that it was, quite happening.
It was on, yeah.
It was on. And then anyway, they announced a breakup in July of this year. And now Chelsea has a Netflix special coming out. She's hosting the Critics' Choice Awards in a couple weeks. So she's sort of making the rounds. And apparently on the Brooke Shields podcast, she said, they have broken up, and she thought that was her forever person, and intimated that something took place, and that he needs to take accountability for it. I don't know what that is. You could interpret that 25 different ways, but when we did that story this morning, which I selected to do because I thought it was interesting, she used that phrase, I felt a little badly, but I hope he's not mad at me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already out there, but...
yeah, right. I mean, it's in the universe. It's not like I just heard this. Yeah.
That's right.
It's weird because it is true. He's a real friend to your show. I feel like that's his show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, maybe that's his show where he should, comment on something like that. He can answer on that show. I mean, it's a good forum for that. So I wouldn't feel bad about it, but I understand. I understand there's an awkwardness about it. Yeah, it's interesting. Joe Coy really just he went from, maybe his rise seems meteoric and it's not. I guess it's been like a 5 to 7 year.
Yeah, I think he's been at it for a long time, and then definitely the last 5 years or so, and this Long Beach thing is probably the last, whatever it is, 4,000 or 5,000 seat auditorium he'll ever play. He's doing a global arena tour, and truly all around the world. And big venues. And so one thing I was thinking, I don't know, is, and I was trying to think of more innocent explanation, is she, I think he's a bigger comic than she is. I think they're places in the universe of change.
Yeah.
Right, a switch, and maybe that's problematic for her.
Yeah, on the one hand, you want somebody else who's in show business and can understand the travails of show business as you endure them, but on the other hand, you don't ever be in competition with whoever you're with, and, there is ego and there is professionalism. In other words, there are a lot of sharp edges, I think, in those relationships, so who knows, but...
I like the stress. You always really want to have your romantic partner be a civilian, if you're in show.
Yeah, I think that's quite true, although, if I could drop a name,
sure.
I was playing golf with Ben Affleck, and he said just the opposite. He said you want somebody who also is a name, also is because it's just too hard to date a civilian. He didn't say civilian, I forget what he said. Somebody who's not in the business. But anyway.
How recently were you playing golf with him?
It was a while ago. I mean, I think that he'd say, it's not in the last, it was more than 5 years ago. So,
okay, all right, fair enough.
He was with Jen, I think, at the time. Is that fair?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And I'll go back, I'm going to go back during the break, I'll go back and check the address book and I'll get you an exact date on it. But I know what you're referring to. You're saying, was it when he was with Jennifer Lopez, that thing? Yeah. Sam Rubin is who we're talking with, and when we come back, I want to at least touch on the future of Hollywood. It seems as though feature films have changed. The financing, the economic viability of Hollywood is changing, and I want to discuss that with you. Sam Rubin hanging out with me on the Conway Show. Thompson here, KFI, AM 640, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Now into the KFI 24-hour newsroom, and Michael Croce.
Judge says the son and daughter of a man hit and killed on the 10 freeway near Kellogg Hill in Pomona can sue two companies for not lighting the area well enough. The trucker from Delaware, described as the leader of the conspiracy to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, has been sentenced to more than 19 years in prison. And Finland's first floating liquefied natural gas terminal has been moored or been docked and will begin supplying the country early next year. After gas from Russia was cut off because of the invasion of Ukraine. Clouds, cool temps through the night, chance of rain coming out anytime tonight into tomorrow morning, and cooler during the day. Chance of rain coming back again late Friday and hanging until early Sunday. This report watched by the Crohn's Disease and Colitis Foundation. Something hit something in Santa Ana.
55 north on at Dyer Road, it crash blocks the left lane and stopped to look from MacArthur. And a stall on the 22 west on at Bristol Street, that's blocking the left lane. Crash in Orange, the 57 northbound at Orangewood Avenue, the right lane is blocked. And that crash in Santa Fe Springs still hanging around, the 605 southbound before Telegraph. Everything off to the right shoulder, but you're slow from Slauson. Finally, in Pacoima, the 118 westbound before Glen Oaks Boulevard, a crash blocks the 3 left lanes. You're stopped there from the 210. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Gabe Joseph.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This report is sponsored by Autonomy.com.
Are you ready to drive an electric vehicle but not ready for the 3-year lease? Subscribe instead. I'm Scott Painter, CEO of Autonomy, where you'll find the cheapest monthly payments on a Tesla without the long-term commitment of a lease. Unleash yourself and subscribe at Autonomy.com. Restrictions restrictions apply.
Accidents don't care if you're driving to a doctor's appointment, taking your kids to school, or heading to a holiday party. Accidents do happen, and this time of year it's busier than ever. I'm Susan Owen, managing partner at the law office of Owen, Patterson & Owen. We have helped thousands of victims at the worst time. Trust in Owen, Patterson & Owen, 44 years. One mission, justice for the injured. Here's wishing you and your loved ones joy this holiday season. We're here if you need us. 888-OPO-WIN. 888-OPO-WINS. OPOLaw.com.
Contractor license 1047-781. Exactly. That time again. What time?
Rejuvenation. We gonna rejuvenate everyone's furnace? Yes, for just $129. Rejuvenating your furnace is extremely very important. If you have a gas furnace, there are 5 life-saving systems that need to be checked before you fire it up. And if you have electric heat, rejuvenating your system is even more extremely very important. $129 is all it takes to keep your family safe. Ghetto, air conditioning, and plumbing. GOETTL.com. We do things the right way, not the easy way.
Accidents don't care if you're driving to a doctor's appointment, taking your kids to school, or heading to a holiday party. Accidents do happen, and this time of year it's busier than ever. We have helped thousands of victims at the worst time. We're here if you need us. 888-OPO-WIN. OPOLaw.com.
I'm Dr. Erica Pond with the California Department of Public Health. This winter, remember to protect yourself against COVID-19 and other winter viruses by getting your flu shot and COVID booster, testing for COVID if you feel sick, contacting your doctor about treatment if you test positive for COVID, and consider masking up in indoor public places. More tips at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by CDPH.
Get you and your kids' bodies moving and heart rates up to burn out stress. Engage in 60 minutes of physical activity every day. A personal dance party, a walk around the block, or bedtime yoga can all help. This Cal Hopeful Moment is brought to you by calhope.org. Life is uncertain. It's okay to get stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. Cal Hope can help. Access Cal Hope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Well, I was going to fuck these geese and make fish. Calm down, guys. I'm just kidding. Of course I won't play. We both know the Bill Cameras by Tacticam are the first choice among sportsmen. People are using your Bill cell cams for so much more. From monitoring pest control to every kind of security need you can think of. I've got to give them Bill cell cams.
Are you looking for more reasons to download our free iHeartRadio app? How about this one? It's the only app where you can listen to your favorite iHeartRadio station anytime, anywhere. Plus, the free iHeartRadio app gives you access to all the music you love and the podcasts you want. And the best part is, it's all free, along with exclusive chances to win cash, once-in-a-lifetime artist experiences, and more. Open the App Store and search iHeartRadio to download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Steve Gregory.
You know, I don't pay attention to other news outlets. I'm too busy making sure you have the most accurate information as quickly as possible to bring the complete picture, all sides of the story. And sometimes that means going into the trenches, the places most people can't get to or aren't allowed to. And sometimes it can get dangerous in those trenches. But the mission remains the same for KFI News, giving a voice to the voiceless, no matter how difficult.
KFI AM 640. The news, what it means, why it matters.
KFI AM 640, heard everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Mark Thompson here for Tim Conway Jr. Tim's back on Monday, everybody. And we've got Sam Rubin on the line. He is the straw that stirs the drink on the KTLA Morning News. He's so great, entertaining, honest, fun, and so well informed, and you're very well connected. I wonder, I will talk to you about the Hollywood thing I was talking about, because I think the streaming world has completely turned the industry on its side. But before I get to that, I was going to ask you, Sam, is there any surprise for you in any of the award shows coming up? I know you're part of the Critics' Choice Awards, but also the Oscars and Golden Globes are back. I wonder if you can just give us a thought or two about all that.
I mean, I think ultimately when all is said and done, and let's maybe save this tape and we can play it back, I think this is going to be a huge year for Top Gun Maverick, where it's a rare meshing of a movie that people actually saw, a star they like and are rooting for, and something the critics also thought was good. And I think that doesn't happen that often, and I can't think of all these other, and there are many worthy nominees and worthy performances and other worthy movies, but something that checks all the boxes for everybody. So I think it's going to be huge for Top Gun Maverick, deservedly so, because it was really good. And you know, what's been interesting, at the end of the year, some of these kind of awards-bait movies, Babylon, to me, is a total misfire. It's really terrible.
It's too long, right?
It's too long, and I don't think I'm remotely prim, but and sexuality doesn't bother me at all. But scatological stuff bothers me.
Right, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I don't see the need for it. And the beginning of the movie, it's like a 20-minute sequence, is hey, they're gonna have a big crazy debauched party. They need to get an elephant there. So it's a whole thing about getting the elephant, and then, you know, if an elephant eats a lot of straw, what does the elephant do? And you see this in incredibly explicit detail, and, you know, do elephants poop a lot? Boy, they sure do. And on top of people? Yep. I mean, yuck, why? And I used to think, and this would be a throwback 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you know, how much cocaine is there in the world that nobody at the studio said, wait a minute, that's a bad idea. Now, I don't necessarily suggest that's happening now, but, you know, this Damien Chazelle, who made Whiplash, which was very good, made La La Land, which a lot of people liked, made an astronaut movie that not a lot of people saw, there's nobody he's friends enough with to tap him on the shoulder and say, this is too much.
That's all there to sort of, he would say, personify the decadence of Hollywood. Is that what that's all? That's Babylon refers to just that.
Yeah, it is just,
Well, you're saying it's just too much.
A phrase that I don't know can be said on KFI 640, but I'll say it and use it because they're a button.
Can you dump it to Bush if he's standing?
You know, is that really how we want to see Margot Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to see the movie. It strikes me as long, and now based on these additional details, I definitely don't want to see it. But I think when you get to a certain point, and I guess I'm asking this, perhaps nobody does say no to you. I think of James Cameron in the same category, although I don't think you need to say no to him too many times. I mean, I understand maybe this latest iteration of Avatar isn't what the first was, but it was, I mean, it's not a bad movie, right?
No, and with Avatar, what he does to his credit is he's created this incredible toolbox, and I'm not technically oriented, but, you know, he's doing things on screen that nobody's ever done, that nobody can do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so maybe you can justify the length because he really wants to show you everything this toolbox can do. Hey, we can make this amazing forest. Oh, we can make this incredible ocean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to be honest with Avatar, and I was, you know, very nervous about it because I went all the way to London, which I'm more than happy to do. And this is, you know, big interviews and a big movie, and you're just praying it's not terrible. I didn't look at my watch once, and I didn't take a restroom break once. So it was certainly compelling enough for those two litmus tests. You know, I didn't think it was the greatest thing I saw. I didn't think it was as entertaining, say, as Top Gun Maverick. But it's certainly, it's a big swing, which, you know, I think is to be admired and encouraged. And I thought it was good. Do I really want to see an Avatar 3, 4, 5? Maybe not, but maybe others do. I don't know.
But you're saying then that in contrast to Babylon of the same length or of
right.
comparable length, which is when we come back, I do want to ask you about what's happened with streaming. By the way, just because we're on it, Avatar, he had said it offhandedly that Avatar, the sequel, you know, this Avatar 2, I'll just call it. What is it?
The Way of Water.
Way of Water. That he would need to make $2 billion to break even. I assume that was just a flip comment. Is that really the case?
It apparently needs to make a lot of money. It's already made its first $1 billion. And what's funny, it's done well and my teenage kids wanted to see it. They've gone to see it. I don't know any. I don't know any adult who has said to me, "Oh my God, I'm clamoring. I've got to be there their first night." But I think that this is I think it will have long legs. A lot of people have this week off. Many people are lucky and have next week off as well. And I think it's fun to go to the theater, and I like smaller and intimate movies too. But I think it's fun to go to to go to a big stadium seat theater with big 3D or big IMAX. And this is the one, and perhaps